Today on the Tiger Lacrosse Report, we'll review the Tigers game against the Fairfield Stags. Get ready, fans. The Tiger Lacrosse Report starts now.
For an athlete, there's nothing scarier than a torn ACL.
Athletes trust us with their care and their careers because we're a recognized leader in sports medicine.
Get back to your active life sooner with MedStar Sports Medicine.
White Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and is locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl, chocolate-covered pretzel. How can you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Hello, fans, and welcome to the Tiger Lacrosse Report. This past Saturday, the Tigers traveled to Fairfield, Connecticut to take on the Stags of Fairfield. Let's take a look at the highlights of that ball game.
Fire!
Joe Sider had 4 points to lead the Tigers, but they came up a little short in the 9-8 defeat. As always, joining me now, the head coach of the Tigers, Shawn Nadelen. And Coach, this was a game that kind of mimicked the Denver game where you were way behind and then came rallying back in the fourth quarter just to fall a little bit short. That's got to be very frustrating for you.
It is, especially kind of knowing what that game, meant, in regards to traveling up there. They'd be coming out with great energy. I don't think we really matched that energy early on. We expected to see zone. We didn't do a good job early, capitalizing on opportunities to maybe bust them out of their zone, and from our offensive end. And, I felt like we kind of wasted quite a few chances, as well as, didn't kind of, as I told the team, we didn't really reward the effort. But it was frustrating to obviously, statistically, on paper, play pretty well, but not come away with a win.
Yeah, I mean, first off, you were perfect on clears. That's an area that, no pun intended, you've cleared up from earlier in the season. Mm-hmm. So no mistakes there. You outshot them. You outshot them on goal. You caused turnovers. They had a lot more turnovers than you did. The only area where they were winning was the scoreboard, unfortunately. Right. But that's the most important one.
That's the one that means the most. Yeah.
Tyler Behring, last year was the defensive player of the year in the CAA, just beat out Tyler White. They were by far the two best goalies in the league. He statistically was not having a great season this year. He looked great on Saturday.
We tend to, at times, make goalies look better than what they are, but Tyler's really good. I mean, he was on it. There was no doubt he was seeing the ball. Very clean. Throughout the game, we, again, early in our that first quarter, our first two possessions, we had shots that we probably could have passed up for one more to the pipe, which would have been layups. And then, hopefully you score on those and it's a different ball game. Not discrediting that we took shots from good spots still in those first two possessions, but we just didn't put them where we should have. That we kind of scouted him, obviously seen him over the past few years, have a pretty good idea where we need to shoot on him, but we just didn't do it. We didn't do it well. We didn't shoot to really score. And he made us pay. We didn't get it outside of his frame. And he was on it. He was on pretty much all those shots. We finally mixed it up and started putting some low and away or some bouncers and got some by him. But credit to him. He came in last game against us as a senior, and he delivered.
Yeah, and I'm sure in the back of his mind, this is the team that ended my season last year and probably had an extra little motivation for Saturday's ball game.
Yeah.
They also were playing, their season was on the line. They have been eliminated from the CAA tournament, but they knew that they had to win to have any chance at all. So you were playing against a team that, they had their backs against the wall.
Right, which we communicated, and we've been in that situation. Delaware the week before was kind of similar to that as well, and that was a tight game, and we came on that fourth quarter and kind of busted loose, which was similar to this game. We gotta be much more efficient. In the first half, we got to be able to capitalize on opportunities in the first half so that we don't have to scramble in that fourth quarter. And it's good to see that we can do that and be productive, and then we got it to obviously a goal with 1 second left, and we just don't want to put ourselves in that situation, especially this time of the year when we've had opportunities early in the game. When we played well early in the game, we just didn't reward ourselves.
You mentioned that you knew they were going to play zone coming into the game. What was it that was kind of offsetting your offense because of that zone?
It really wasn't anything. We just weren't taking advantage of the spacing and some of the gaps that we created. They had their shorty in the middle, which was different than what they've shown. They usually put the big kid, 47, the big lefty in the middle, but we were able to get any look that really we wanted. We didn't maybe again grind the zone down as much as we should have. We took a couple dodge, pass, shot opportunities instead of just continuing to kind of wear them down. Instead of taking 14 to 13-yard shots, we could have got 10 to 8-yard shots easily, and we just didn't recognize that. We didn't do a good job adjusting and penetrating the zone that way.
On the defensive end, you gave up 9 goals. You were without Jack Adams, one of the best defensive middies in the country. But Tyler Mays, again, 4 more caused turnovers. What is it about him that week after week, guys are just getting stripped by this kid?
It's what's inside. It really is. It comes down to what's inside that kid. And if I could get a group of scientists together and find out what that is and pull it out and then put it into our recruits and players and stuff like that. Not that there's probably obviously guys on the team and guys coming in that have that kind of. But I mean, Tyler's got that that desire and passion inside of him to just want to be great and compete at the highest level, and he's doing it at a great clip for us this year so far, and continuing to be motivated come game day and then be able to do his part. And he's out there every rep. I mean, we don't play a second long stick midi. He's out there every rep and playing to the tilt. And I was frustrated for him after the game with the effort that he put out there and knowing that we should have won that game, especially with what he was able to do. We didn't support him well enough on the defensive end as well as the offensive end, but I'm sure he was frustrated as well.
For you, and it seems like the last couple of years, there's been that one game where you're expected to win and you don't. Is it something that how do you fight against getting your team motivated week to week?
Well, it's bad coaching. That's what it came down to. It's like, And we talked about it. We didn't talk about it leading into the week. We talked about, obviously, staying sharp, staying fresh, understanding the motivation, with it all, and what kind of helped us, achieve success, so far in the CAA as well as the season, and then looking to continue to duplicate that. But again, the way we came out, we weren't as excited in warm-ups. We weren't as focused, I thought, in warm-ups as we needed to be. And then we talked about it at halftime, or not halftime, but before we came out, right before the game, in regards to the energy that needed to be picked up and stuff. That just makes you more aware, more alert. And then obviously once we lost, I brought it up in the locker room. I brought it up with the Bulls and the seniors and the juniors. I was like, you guys have been a part of this every year. I was like, for us as a program to continue to evolve and get better, I was like, we got to figure out how not to let this happen. It's one thing if you're playing and you're playing great and the other team's playing great and you end up losing the game. We played really well, but we just didn't, reward ourselves with the effort and finish off opportunities, at both ends of the field. And that, I think, came down to a lack of focus, a lack of that, that little bit more to make it happen. And that's something that we can't allow to happen.
Well, the best part is the season continues after this week.
Fortunately.
That will do it for us on today's episode of the Tiger Lacrosse Report. Join us next time when we will preview the Tigers game against the Pride of Hofstra. For head coach Shawn Nadelen, I'm Spiro Morekas. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Tigers.